Enterprise is made possible by grants from public television stations. The Dun & Bradstreet Corporation, providing business and information services worldwide. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, a breed apart. Charles E. Culpeper Foundation and the Gates Foundation.
I will do whatever is necessary to survive. I mean, the only way they're going to get rid of me is to put a bullet in me.
So he's lost $90 million on a boondoggle. If he makes the mistake, that's his problem. That's not ours.
Ted Turner, the America's Cup hero of 1977, is up to his chin in the deep water of cable television competition. In 1980, he started a 24-hour-a-day news service called CNN, Cable News Network. In 1982, ABC and Group W of Westinghouse decided to muscle in on his potential profits with a 24-hour-a-day news service of their own.
This is the Satellite News Channel. Give us 18 minutes, we'll give you the world.
This week on Enterprise, Ted Turner and the News War.
Welcome to the third season of Enterprise. I'm Eric Severai. When I started in television, the networks ran a low-budget 15-minute newscast and anchormen could walk the streets unmolested. But the TV journalists became stars, and evening news shows turned into a $350 million business. Profits got so large that it was only a matter of time before something would try to do unto the TV networks what they had done unto radio, and that something was cable TV. Today, 32 million homes have cable, and 400,000 more are being wired each week. Cable can do what the networks cannot, deliver all news programming 24 hours a day. But for all the money in TV news, neither of the cable news operations made a profit. In their business, it seems, one's company and two's a crowd. This week on Enterprise, we'll watch the Cable News Network and Satellite News Channel fight what the industry has dubbed the Battle of the Eyeball. Yours and mine.
Cable News Network, when I announced we were going to do that, the three networks said there was no possible way that we could do it. They called it chicken noodle news, but they said, we spend $200 million a year, and we don't run but 2.5 hours of news a day. And Turner's going to, for $50 million, going to run a 24-hour news operation. It won't be any good.
Turner is flamboyant and very quotable, and the media, including television shows about Enterprise, can't resist his showmanship. The waiting room of his Atlanta office is decorated with his media trophies. In an era when many executives merge their identity with a corporate image, Turner is a throwback to the age of swashbuckling individualism.
Wait a minute, I thought, what's the two guys for? I mean, boy, is this dumb. I'm stupid.
Turner cultivates the press.
I mean, what is this picture for? Is this going to be the New York Times magazine?
At the same time, he resents their intrusion in his frantically paced day.
Okay.
He lives a life of self-imposed tension, trying to accomplish more work and play than the day has hours.
This is it. It's going to be terrible. Okay. All right. Ow. I'm so sick of being photographed and interviewed.
In 1974, Turner was an extraordinarily successful racing sailor and a middling millionaire, owner of a billboard company and a local TV station in Atlanta. But then, having won the America's Cup and almost every other major yachting trophy in the world, he turned his competitive instincts loose on the television industry.
Give me 2,500, 3,000, whatever the freight bears.
Henry,
market price.
I've got a couple of guys, Buddy Brooks, an old pal of mine, and he's, what's your name?
Jerry Arthur.
Jerry Arthur, who's in with him, and they're trying to put a programming package, or they're putting a programming package together.
Turner already had a successful TV station in Atlanta. In 1976, he radically transformed his local station by buying a satellite communication system. Transmitting dishes in Atlanta beam the TV signal to a satellite positioned over North America. The satellite redirects the signal to 5,000 cable systems with their 31 million subscribers. At one stroke, Turner reached a national audience and could make money by charging the cable systems a fee and by selling commercials. Then he bought the Atlanta Braves baseball team and the Atlanta Hawks basketball team to give himself prime sports events to program, along with movies and reruns. By 1979, Turner's Superstation was making $6 million.
We invented advertiser-supported cable. Nobody even thought about a cable network delivered by a satellite advertiser-supported until we did it. So as a result of that, we started planning for it eight years ago, or 8.5 years ago, and just like McDonald's and Kentucky Fried Chicken did in the fast food business. And we were able to position ourselves and purchase programming and plan our strategy in an environment where there was no competition.
But Turner loves to compete. From his headquarters in Atlanta, he launched an attack no one thought he could win. In 1980, he founded a 24-hour-a-day cable news service called CNN, Cable News Network, and took on ABC, CBS, and NBC's multi-million-dollar news operation.
Postponed its hearing on allegations of police brutality. CNN's Pat Dolan reports.
Turner hired a few seasoned reporters and an army of young non-union technicians to produce a long-form program featuring in-depth interviews and analysis. He lost millions on CNN the first year, but as 14 million subscribers signed up and advertisers plunked down $30 million a year, even the giants had to take notice. In June of 1982, Group W of Westinghouse and ABC launched a competing cable news service with headquarters in Stamford, Connecticut. Here they produced a short-form headline news program.
When you turn on your TV set for news, you want it now. That's why the Satellite News Channel brings you all news all the time, 24 hours a day, a service of ABC News and Group W.
Lloyd Werner, a senior vice president of Group W Satellite Communications, is in charge of selling commercial time on SNC. He is a true believer, a devoted promoter of his product.
It's very difficult for people to understand that this thing never goes off the air. 24 hours every day, it looks exactly like this. Same number of people doing exactly the same thing, and it's the only one of its kind. Fact is that in CNN, there are hours and hours of the tape. This is the only live, all-news newsroom in existence. You can see we built it for 2 stories, so that when we shoot long shots, we can get an enormous effect of the height and depth of the resources in this newsroom. Set up very simply, the anchor desk is over here, the sports and weather desk is here, the weather is done against that chroma key. These people are the producers for this hour. They are putting together through the word processor the next hour's news so that it can be given by the newscaster.
And here's what's happening this Wednesday. 2 Democrats on the Senate Judiciary Committee say they will vote against President Reagan's 3 nominees to the...
He's really very good, and one of the better known of our people. As you can look around, you'll notice that none of these people are kids either. These are all people, particularly the on-air folks, who've got a fairly extensive background in video journalism. It's a phenomenal service. And the more people get to use it, the more familiar they become with it, the more they realize how terrific it is.
Westinghouse is a $2.5 billion company. Teleprompter value is something like $650 million, and ABC has a capitalization of $800 million. So we have arrayed against us, committed to our destruction, approximately $4 billion.
But Turner's problems were just beginning. SNC announced future plans for a long-form news service to compete head-on with Turner's CNN. Turner realized that the 2 SNC programs could drive him out of business, so, risking $20 million more, he started a headline news service of his own called CNN2. At a meeting with cable operators, he lays out his strategy.
Well, let's go ahead and let's everybody sit down. So I said, well, we got to start a headline news service to compete with them and split that market and hopefully keep them from starting the second service, which is exactly what we've done. We've got 4 million subs on CNN headline news, and they've got 4.5 or something like that. And they're the ones that are apparently on the ropes now. I mean, they hired all their people, promising them they were going to do this little 18-minute deal. I mean, how would you like to every 18 minutes repeat the same stories over and over again? I mean, that's no big deal. It's radio, no news gathering organization. The thing is really a joke.
74% of the people that we spoke to
Lloyd
were aware
Warner,
that
speaking with a reporter from the Village Voice, tries to counter Turner's attacks with attacks of his own.
the idea, the preemptive strike of putting CNN2 out 6 months before us was designed to drive us out of business. It was designed to keep us out of business. But the point is, the minute he did CNN2, he drained energy away from CNN. He's made CNN a worse service. He hasn't done anything to for the cable industry by putting out that second channel. What he should have said, good marketing man would have told him, to say, come on in, guys, the water's fine, we need you. But you don't have to do the second channel because I've got that channel done already. And ABC would have gone crackers because the second channel is theirs. ABC would have gone haywire. They want to use all that footage that Roon shoots and doesn't use. It's a way to write it off.
Lloyd Warner lives in Stamford, Connecticut. He grew up in Queens, New York. No yachting in his childhood. He plugged away at selling TV commercials for local stations for years and was so successful that he ended up president of Group W TV sales.
Born and raised in New York City, and I lived in apartments all my life. California, Chicago. I always lived in the middle of the city. This is the first time I've ever lived in the country. It's just so beautiful. It's a great way to start the day. By the time you get down to the office, you're all stoked up and ready to go.
Warner is point man in SNC's selling effort. This is the biggest challenge of his career. If he fails, he may never get this kind of chance again. But with the creation of CNN2, Warner needs victories to point to. In May, SNC beats out CNN in Washington, D.C., getting its programs into government buildings.
And all of a sudden, after only being in existence for 8 or 10 months, we have a position in Washington that somebody who's been trying for 3 years doesn't have. And all it says is that each time one of these issues comes up, Satellite News Channels is the winner. This is a service that's been up for a year. We haven't got anybody on the cover of Time magazine. Not one of us has ever been to the America's Cup, and yet our service, because of the quality of the service, is able to get these things done as opposed to any competitor. That Washington deal is a big coup for us, and we should keep pounding it each time we get a chance. We're there, he's not. He says, you never beat somebody.
Still, the real battleground is not in Washington, but in New York City. Warner has to sell more advertising to survive, but the ad agencies are holding back because it's difficult for them to measure the size of the cable audience and the cost effectiveness of the advertising. But Warner needs commitments now from advertisers. He woos Abe Potensky, who spends $130 million a year on TV commercials.
Not if you own a cable system.
Look at that. The menu's all in French.
I'll get somebody here to translate it. Tell us what you have today, special.
Today we have the roast leg of lamb.
Ah, yes.
And our regular menu.
I really think that the moment of breakthrough is, I think, imminent. Little by little, it's going to start to turn around. Just slowly with more and more of our clients. It's just a question of a matter of time. We know you're there. And matter of fact, in recent days, we had started to use more and more in recommendations. And one of these days, somebody's going to say, let's do it, and then we're going to do it. So it's a question of time.
But time is pressing. Even as Warner tries to promote SNC, he knows that both his operation and Turner's are hemorrhaging millions. Potential clients are waiting to see which one wins.
Where do you think all this is going to end between you and Turner? CNN 1, CNN 2?
Well, advertisers will support anything that people watch, to whatever degree they watch it. If we get twice the audience, they'll give us twice the money. If he gets twice the audience, they'll give him twice the... All the advertisers are looking for is a way to keep their message in front of human beings. And you can't tell me that if somebody spends 28 minutes watching a news channel, which is the number on SNC, that you can't sell advertising if somebody's watching it. I could sell you advertising on this window if you'd stare at it for 28 minutes. And I have seen you stare at windows for 28 minutes.
Normally after talking to you.
Asking for help.
Oh, gosh.
It's May of 1983, and Turner is in New York City to launch his own campaign to win over the ad agencies. The agencies already buy commercial time on Turner's superstation, but CNN2's audience is still too small to be rated. Turner desperately needs more advertising to offset his losses, and McCann Erickson's clients include giants like AT&T and Coke.
What's cable only is going to be in 70% of the homes in the country in 7 more years. When I first came to see you, 6 years ago, when we went on the satellite, we were in 1% of the homes, and now we're in 31%. And this month, in May, we'll be in 32. And the next 7 years, if we just doubled, I'm predicting we'll be in better than 70% of the homes in 1990. Our competitors in the cable field, they're in so late, they're giving it away, and they're all going broke. Thanks for everything. We're here to stay now. We crossed the tough parts behind us.
I know.
Since I saw y'all last, I had network meetings with the heads of all 3 networks.
BBD&O is one of Turner's big customers. Through them, he gets $4 million from companies like Campbell Soup, Pepsi, and American Cyanamid.
Because I like to be popular priced. I like to offer a superior product at a better price. That's how you get big in a hurry, right? Is to have better service, better product, and cheaper too. I mean, that's what you like too. Well, the way we do it is efficiency. We do it by efficiency. You know, we have like 1,500 people at the 3 networks, 72 hours of programming a day. CBS has 8,000 feeding out 14 hours a day. And our people on average, because we're non-union and located in Atlanta and they're unionized in New York and LA, our average employee probably makes half as much as they do. Not our salespeople. Our salespeople are comparably paid, but we don't have that many salespeople. Most of it's, you know, our news people I know make probably less than half as much. It's going to be pretty hard for them to compete with us. I mean, hell, we're making money with 30% coverage of the U.S. Not a lot, but I mean, I don't care about money that much. And SNC is just, their growth has been totally frozen, and they're in a state of disarray. I mean, they announced they were going to do 2 news services, and they were going to do the in-depth service, and that's on indefinite hold. And that's what Hitler said after he lost the Battle of Britain. You know, I put the invasion of Britain on indefinite hold. They had to beat me completely.
Making the rounds, a master salesman plays variations on 2 themes. His CNN is growing, SNC is on the way out. Would an advertiser want to put his money on a loser?
I mean, everybody figures they're short-term, too. The advertisers haven't gone with them. Their format's wrong. Their people are, you know, they announced that when they started, they said they were going to, as quickly as possible, do the 2 services and compete with us across the board. Well, they pulled out of it. They put it off indefinitely. But that's what Hitler did after he lost the Battle of Britain. He put off the invasion of Great Britain indefinitely. Our cable news network, it's rapidly approaching a $100 million a year expense operation for all our news, the news operation, and they couldn't afford to lose. They're losing $44 million right now. They can't afford to lose $100 million. That's what it would cost, because CNN is so good they couldn't do anything much that we're not already doing. And so I think we've beaten them.
June 12th in Houston, the annual cable convention draws both Turner and Werner. Neither can sell commercial time to advertisers if they can't get their programs before viewers. And the cable system operators have the ultimate power. They decide which programs to offer subscribers, and less than half carry either CNN Headline News or SNC.
Really something else, you know? As you walk through the floor, you can't help but get pumped up. Look, I'm getting excited. It's absolutely true. There's more energy on that floor than almost any place I have ever been to. I try. The industry isn't laid back. The industry isn't everybody's making money, and so let's just sit around and jolly pop. I mean, there are people out there that are pounding, they're working that floor hard. The cable operators come with an enthusiasm to do business. Not only is he a customer of cable, but he's also very important.
The competition for subscribers extends far beyond cable news. Dozens of other programmers want a piece of the pie.
They're off, the most beautiful women in the world having the time of their lives. It's the Playmate Playoffs.
Some shows are paid for by viewers, and some are bought by cable operators. Some programmers even pay cable operators to carry their shows. The operators are trying to make the best deal they can for themselves and their viewers, which may not include either Werner or Turner.
It's an unbeatable team. When we work together to reach your goals, the result is success. It's all right here. Innovation, variety, and the confidence that with teamwork, everything works.
And the Nashville Network is bringing it to you. The radio is playing, good friends are gathered round, listening to that good Nashville sound.
About 1 year ago, June 21st, we launched Satellite News Channel with 400 cable affiliates. Thanks to you, it's working. Here's a sample of what I'm talking about. Your subscribers, no matter what schedule they're on.
This industry is out of control. It's like a train. We wanted to go faster and faster. They took the brakes off and it's going down the mountain. The industry ought to say stop, you know, but they can't. It's for a while it's going to be out of control. People can't deal with 100 channels. You spend 2 hours looking what's on TV, and by the time it's time to go to bed, you didn't see anything. What if you had 100 wives and you came over and you had to figure out which one you're going to have dinner with and spend the night with? I mean, you'd be so confused that you'd end up doing nothing except drinking. Who's going to make it? I get the advertisers come to me and said, who's going to make it? I said, I don't know who's going to make it. It depends on who's willing to lose the lowest money for the longest period of time. God bless you. That's right. I just hope we're both there when it's over.
About 120,000 homes per quarter hour.
The convention floor is for show, but most of the selling is done in private rooms. Werner wants the Tulsa system to carry SNC. The Tulsa cable operator, Mark Savage, is a Turner fan. He even promoted Turner in an industry ad. But Werner has a lunch date with one of Savage's co-vice presidents. Like a gambler with his hole card hidden, Werner makes his move.
So, at some point during the day, during our sumptuous lunch, I'm going to make a proposition to you, which is attractive, but will include Tulsa.
I think we are always open to proposals that include lots of money. So we would certainly listen to what you have to say, but we're very satisfied with the products we have there currently, so it's got to be a hell of an incentive.
Yes, I understand it. Well, as you know, we didn't come into this poker game checking, and this is a high-money, high-stakes game. We know that.
But at convention end, Werner still does not have Tulsa. Time is running out. The struggle to get their shows on cable systems and to sell advertising is draining both SNC and CNN. Like gunslingers at high noon, each side waits for the other to blink. In September, a major investment firm precipitates a crisis. Securities analyst Susan Watson drops a bomb on ABC.
We've been recommending aggressive purchase of ABC shares based on an attractive earnings trend through 1985. But we're not recommending purchase anymore. Satellite News looks like it could lose $40 million this year, and half of that, or $20 million, would be ABC shares. Ted Turner was in the market first, so it was an uphill battle all the way for SNC, and we don't think it's going to win.
On the New York Stock Exchange, ABC's stock falls $4.50 a share. Future profits of both SNC and CNN2 are uncertain, present costs astronomical. But ABC is a widely owned public company, and its directors are under more pressure than Turner, who owns 87% of Turner Broadcasting. For weeks, lawyers bargain in secret, and then a deal is struck. The lawyers meet for a final session in Atlanta to seal the agreement. Turner pays $25 million to Group W and ABC. SNC is killed. After 16 months of continuous operation, SNC signs off. leaving Turner the king of cable news.
It was a dream, and when the dream dies, it dies hard. So from an emotional standpoint, I guess you look at it too from an emotional standpoint, when the decision was made that we were going to close this down, it was like, you know, the end of the world, or as close to the end of the world as I've ever come. But it's a good business decision. It's a solid business decision. When you take the emotion out and you say, forget the last 2 years and everything you put into it and all the rest of that stuff, you take the emotion out. If you put the money that we were spending in the bank today, you'd be well ahead of the game by 1990. If you put it into SNC, you would be lucky to break even by 1990. We didn't win, but then I don't know that we lost a few bucks here and there. We certainly gained an awful lot of experience. And if the consumer benefited, then I guess we can walk away with our head high saying we did a good job.
I just wanted to see if we could do it. And I wasn't really sure what we were going to do. I mean, it was like Christopher Columbus. I mean, when you do something that's never been done before, sail on uncharted waters, you don't know exactly where you're going. You're not sure what you're going to find when you get there, but at least you're going somewhere. We were on the move. I wasn't sure exactly to where. I did it more out of a sense of adventure than anything else, just to see what would happen. You know, the same reason the bear went over the mountain. Remember that song?
No.
The bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain to see what he could see.
So what did he see?
The other side of the mountain.
Oh, is it worth it?
It's been a lot of fun, yeah.
This program was produced by WGBH Boston, which is solely responsible for its content. Enterprise is made possible by grants from public television stations. The Dun & Bradstreet Corporation, providing business and information services worldwide. Merrill Lynch, Pierce, Fenner & Smith Incorporated, a breed apart. Charles E. Culpeper Foundation and the Gates Foundation.